Thanksgiving week, and that means it is time for the Egg Bowl, and that's why we got Brian Hadad, the honorary mayor of Starkville. Oh, no, the co-host of SportsTalk Mississippi.
I stay out of politics, as you know, Gerard. Local, national, or otherwise.
That likely will result in a much happier and saner life, honestly. Oh, gosh. But somebody got to do it, as they say. All right. Now, it is my understanding that you are an expert on the history of the Egg Bowl, having attended, I don't know, 100 to 150 of them or something like that.
I'm a couple behind David Murray and Chuck Rounsaville.
Exactly, over there at Ole Miss. So we got a big one coming up this Thursday, and it looks like the weather might bring us some showers.
Yeah.
But we're not unaccustomed to that in Egg Bowls at all.
Well, I mean, it's always cold, so that's the first thing. So I expect that. But a little rain. There's some forecasts that look like it's going to clear out by game time.
Yeah.
Some that look like it might just be a light rain. I'll be interested to see how that affects Mississippi State throwing the ball as much. They haven't had a game in the rain all year. Been lucky on that front. So, but we'll see. Like you said, bad weather and the Egg Bowl goes together like turkey and dressing.
Okay, so I'll start. I remember, speaking of weather, one that was held in Oxford, 2000, I believe, the year 2000.
Yeah.
The punter, Prentice Cole from Mississippi State, bobbled a snap. You remember that?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Ole Miss recovered it like on the 8 or 10 yard line or something like that. And he goes to the sideline where then Coach Jackie Sherrill proceeds to have a little sales meeting with him.
They had a word, yeah.
And that was, it seems like that was the highlight reel for the next 24 hours on the sports cycle.
Yeah.
I bring that up because years ago, Prentice, he became like a physical therapist, actually a personal trainer. And I used to do training with him. And
there you go.
Thought the world of him, as a matter of fact. I said, what did Coach Sherrill say to you? He says, to this day, I have no idea. He was just pulling on him and yelling at him. But anyhow, this one's setting up, Brian, to be what should be a competitive game, at least on paper. And what is kind of fun about this is both teams are really good and ranked. That doesn't happen very often.
It's a competitive game, and it's a compelling game.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of both. Both teams are ranked, like you said. I expect Ole Miss, when they release the college football playoff roll tomorrow, to probably go into the top 10 because, with the losses that Michigan State, Wake Forest, Oregon had, there's going to be some shuffling. State, I don't see a whole lot of movement for. Maybe they might be 23rd, 22nd, something like that at best. But, still ranked.
Yeah.
And two good teams. They're both playing good football right now. State offensively is clicking on all cylinders. Will Rogers has just become a stat machine. And then defensively for Ole Miss, they're playing about as well as they've played in the last 5 or 6 years, lead the country in sacks. And then you have Matt Corral, who had a fantastic season. And the Ole Miss running game looks like it's really turning into form. And if it's going to rain, that's a good thing because, Ely and Parrish and Connor are backs that can eat up yards. So there's a lot of great storylines in this game, a lot of great players in this game. It should be one of the better Egg Bowls we've had in recent memory.
And potentially much on the line for the winner, right? So I think that's also different as well. Sometimes I remember, it seems, Brian, where it's, okay, the winner is bowl eligible.
Yeah.
But both that's out the window now. We're looking for
there's some years,
bigger.
Gerard, where the winner got the trophy, and that was it.
That was the bowl.
That was the bowl. What bowl did you go to? The Egg Bowl. This year, for Ole Miss, a win in this game probably puts Ole Miss into the Peach Bowl, which will be a fantastic game to go to over there in Atlanta. Probably matched up with another top 10 team will be very good.
Yeah.
A loss for the Rebels. Maybe they're in the Outback Bowl again, the Gator Bowl. They're still in Florida, though, I would think.
Yeah.
For State, a win probably has them in a Florida Bowl as well, Outback Gator. Citrus would be interesting because the Citrus is probably going to choose between 4 teams: Ole Miss, State, Kentucky, and Texas A&M.
Okay.
Well, if State wins the Egg Bowl, they would have the head-to-head win over all three of those teams. So I don't know how that would play out in the end, but somebody's going to a good bowl game. State loses, they're probably going to go to the Texas Bowl. That's my prediction, to go out to Houston.
Yeah.
But you're right about one thing. Like, there's no worries about bowl eligibility. We know everybody's going to one at least, which, again, in years past, we could not say.
So what's the present line?
It depends where you look. I saw Ole Miss favorite, and I've seen Mississippi State favorite. I think Ole Miss is a 2-point favorite. That'll probably by kickoff be down to a pick 'em.
Yeah, I would think so. And I don't know that home field advantage is a thing in this deal or not anymore. Your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, Ole Miss got the win last year, but the previous previous 4 had gone to the road team.
Right.
We had a stretch in the 90s. I want to say with 94 through 98 where the road team won every game. So there have been some years here where it hasn't mattered, but then you had a stretch like, 99 to 09 where the home team won.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a big crowd. Mississippi State fans are excited. I expect Ole Miss to bring a lot of fans as well. I don't think the weather will affect the crowd very much, so we'll see if home field has an advantage, and if it does, that's a plus for Mississippi State.
So you got a pick at this point, a prognostication of the outcome?
I think State's going to win. Now, maybe that's just me being an old biased Bulldog, and your listeners can have at me for that one. But I just feel like State is clicking on all cylinders right now. I feel like Will Rogers is just – he's playing at a really high level, and I think that Ole Miss defensively, State can neutralize their pass rush a little bit. Their offensive line has been very good this year. We just released the news that Charles Cross won the 2021 Hull Trophy as the top offensive lineman in the state. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what Ole Miss likes to do. They like to get you in 2nd and 16, 2nd and 18 with sacks. I think State can neutralize that. It can just move the football on the Rebels.
Yeah, and honestly, watching the Vanderbilt game, which I thought was a rather sluggish performance Saturday, do you think there's any truth to the concept that maybe they didn't want to show everything this late in the season? I heard some of that.
I would agree with that, Gerard, if 2 weeks ago they were sluggish against Liberty.
Yeah.
And basically since the Tennessee game, since Corral injured his ankle and hasn't been as much of a running threat, they just haven't been as good offensively.
Agree.
So I'm sure that some of that had happened, and Mississippi State's the same thing, right? I mean, what are they going to show against Tennessee State?
Yeah.
But Ole Miss this year, the offense in the second half of the season has not been as good, and in the second half of games, it's been really bad. They're only getting 7 points a game right now in the second half. So if State takes a lead into the locker room, it's going to be tough for the Rebels to come back.
I agree with you. All right, so you got any particular notable Egg Bowl memories you'd like to share?
Oh, man, how long?
I know you got a bunch, but
I need a second segment, Gerard. 96, State wins 17-0 in Oxford, sacks Ole Miss quarterbacks 9 times. That was my 21st birthday as well. So I got, I had some adult beverages in Oxford legally for the first time.
Yeah.
98, again in Oxford, winning the SEC West and having a sip of champagne under the Arch of Champions there in the Grove. 99, the great comeback and the kick and the pick and all that. That's a fantastic one. And then if I had to pick one more, in 16, I mean, that's two, again, it's sort of like we were just talking about. Both teams were not very good, but it was just enjoyable to watch State run up and down the field on Ole Miss, and they could not stop them. I did not know at the time I was watching Hugh Freeze's last game as Ole Miss's head coach, but had I known that, I would have blown him a kiss goodbye.
Yeah, I remember all those. Of course,
I'm sure you did.
I do, unfortunately. I also remember the Artie Cosby kick. I was there. I was in the other end zone, 1983. I believe.
So you had a good view of that ball coming straight back to earth.
I did. And what I remember in particular, Brian, was as the kick was approaching the goal, the State fans present were standing in celebration. Yeah. And as it got blown back, they all sat down. The Ole Miss people stood up. It was like
that is something that since it happened in 1983, we don't see it as much. If that happened in 2013 or in this era of social media, that clip would be played 5 million times.
You're exactly right about that. Well, it should be a fun one.
I'm headed to Oxford now. So y'all get ready for me
up there. That's right. You got a remote up there, don't you?
Yeah, we'll be up there today at Visit Oxford. SportsTalk Mississippi, 3 o'clock.
Have fun. Good luck with that. Enjoy the game, as I will as well, and we'll see what happens.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
You too as well, my friend. We'll talk soon. Middays will be right back. Stay with us.